Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again. It's Wednesday afternoon, and we are the EMEA-based Android Developer Relations team and Google TV team here to talk to you about Android development. I'm Sparky, coming to you from Munich, Germany, and we've got Matt and Nick and Rich in London, UK. And who is this fourth face that we see?
Yeah, hi there. We have a guest with us in the UK office again this week. This week it's Chris Baines.
Hi, guys.
Just hi. Hi. Do you want to say a little bit about Android stuff that you've done before, maybe, or?
So some of you might know me from
totally.
So some of the stuff sort of got pulled to refresh library. I wrote Friendcaster, all sorts of bits like that. Really, I've done quite a bit over the years.
Generally awesome in the Android community over here. So, hi.
Thanks, Richard.
No problem at all.
Hang out.
Yeah, go hang out. So we're hoping quite a lot of you join in today because we only have 3 questions in the moderator for this week. If not, it'll be quite a short session. So if you have Android development questions, please come along and join us in the Hangout or comment on the G+ thread if you can't get in, and we'll invite you in so you can ask your questions live. Else, add some more questions into the moderator to keep us going.
3 questions. I'm impressed. That's a 50% improvement over the last time I looked.
2 questions and 1 thing that says this is not a question, but enjoy your Hangout. Thanks, Andrew Kelly. One-man moderator machine. Even when he's not adding questions into the moderator, he's still filling it up for us.
Andrew Kelly on G+ the other day was saying, when will DroidCon come to Australia? And I was telling him that DroidCon is not organised by Google, it's a community-run event. Anyone can set up a DroidCon, so I think.
Yeah, totally right.
So I think Andrew should organise one in Australia.
Yeah.
And I will go.
We can introduce you to the DroidCon organisers if you want to get au.droidcon.com. I believe they did have to license the name.
No,
They licensed the word droid, yeah, they did.
I thought DroidCon wasn't organised by a central thing. It was literally like ad hoc people could do it, and then now they're discussing that maybe they should make it a slightly more sort of collaborative effort, so that you have to kind of go through them to then set up your new DroidCon.
So if any of the DroidCon organisers are watching this, yeah, Frigga, anyone who knows, pop in, tell us actually, so we stop guessing, because that's just dangerous. Yossi, hey there, good to see you again. Thanks for joining. Do you have any questions for us today?
Hi, hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay, just wanted to ask about implementing or using Google Hangouts API inside an Android application, and what are the baseline guidelines for that, and so on.
The Hangouts API, you say?
Yeah, so there aren't any, because there isn't any.
To my knowledge, that doesn't exist. Have you found something we don't know about?
No, I was thinking to build an application and try to see if there's any API for Hangouts, also for Android, not only for web. Didn't find any, so I just wanted to ask if.
No, I mean, the people, you should head to the Google Plus office hours. They host office hours as well at developers.google.com/live and have a chat with them. They might be able to talk to you about any APIs that there are for Hangouts.
Okay.
At the moment, I think the Hangouts APIs will revolve around adding functionality to Hangouts, not Hangouts on your own sites or in your own applications. Who's that making noise? Oh, someone must have muted him. I was going to say, where's Al Sutton when you need him? But of course, Al Sutton's off playing with Ouya. He got his first Ouya hardware during the week.
Yeah.
So he's probably just playing games. If you're watching, Al, enjoy that. Right. I'm just going to pull up the comments thread as well, just to make sure we don't miss anything.
But 1 request to add something.
All right.
Notice that we've been joined in the Hangout by a couple of newcomers. We got Paul and we got Stefano. Welcome, guys. Do you have anything on your mind that you'd like to bring up? Any Android-related topics that you'd like to talk about now?
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay.
Hey, Paul.
Hiya. Good to meet you guys a week ago.
You too?
Yeah, you too. Hey.
It was good, good fun, and good to see what's going on with Android. I do have one quick question. I can't remember, I spoke to somebody, I can't remember who it was, about submitting the NFC fix as a patch. Can someone tell me where to go or what to do, please?
Yeah, if you go to source.android.com, there's a section there about how to submit a change.
Oh, okay. Cool. Sounds easy then. Good.
Well, yeah, I guess so. You have to kind of create your Gerrit and all this stuff. Yeah.
Okay,
It'll work
well,
for it.
I'll have a look at it anyway later on. Thank you very much.
Cool. You're welcome. Any other questions? Who else have got? Who's just joined us?
Stefano?
Yeah, Stefano, welcome to the Hangout. What's on your mind?
Hello. I am an Italian student. I don't speak great English.
It's
I am
fine.
only. I develop only an app for Android. It's just a benchmark.
Okay. What sort of a benchmark? Like performance?
Yeah.
Are you doing native code or like web performance or Java VM? What are you?
Java performance.
Dalvik. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So how long have you been working on it?
About half years.
Okay. So what's your impression of Android as a development platform? Do you have any favorite APIs or something that you wish that we would fix?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Oh, okay. So what parts about Android do you like working with, and what parts about Android do you think maybe you would like to see some changes in?
For me, Android is perfect at the moment.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's a very good platform.
Okay, very well said. I'll send you your money later. Cool.
Okay. Just updating a couple of the threads to make sure everybody knows where the moderator and where this this session's actually at today.
Should we take a look at some of the moderator questions, Sparky?
Sure. There's not a whole lot here, as I had said. The first one's kind of interesting. This one's from our friend Johan in the Netherlands. It says he wants to create 2 skins for the app, which he equates to having different resources, and he wants to basically know what are best practices for doing this. Should he create a library project with then 2 different sets of resources, or sort of riff on that? And just as an aside, he also mentions that he's using Maven to build it, in case that makes a difference. Responses from Andrew Kelly and Yossi suggest using themes. But I'm thinking maybe, I mean, what if he doesn't want the assets for both branches of the app in the same binary,
Yeah.
in the same APK? Like maybe one is for a client or something like that.
Chris, Friendcaster supported multiple themes. How did you go about that?
Yeah, so all the graphics are in the same APK, so it was all done on styles and themes with custom attributes.
And then how do you set it? You just call set theme? Or you do it
Yeah, so in your activity, before you call super.onCreate, it's got to be before, you call set style. Is it set style or set theme?
Set theme.
Yeah, so you call that with the style you want, so you call it, sort of change it off a preference or whatever you need to do.
So if you change style, you have to recreate the activity.
No, does it? So as long as you call set style before you call super.onCreate, it all works. If you call it after, bad things happen.
Okay, so you're sort of dynamically switching your theme, basically the drawable resources that compose your theme right at an instantiation of the activity then?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So
this is
That's how I would do it.
Yeah.
So you'd have to do that for each activity? You can do that on like an application-wide
Yes,
level?
but if you create a base activity
Yeah,
and
it's
then
done
just
for you.
extend from it all works.
Good tip. So this is going to depend on whether he wants to have an app which can change themes on user request, which you restart the activity and change it, and put both sets of themes in the APK, or whether you're trying to reskin the same application for multiple clients, and you don't want all the resources in both, in which case the library project would be a great way to go. And then add the themes.
Have you guys worked with apps that have downloadable skins, like beautiful widgets or something like that?
Yeah. What about them?
I just wonder, like, do you know how they organize their themes there? Are they
It's like a plugin architecture then.
Beautiful widgets, they download them to the SD card, and then they load the images via a thread, and then just set the drawables on each view. So it's all done manually.
right? So they're not using the resource framework; they're just using drawables.
There are apps, so all the apps where the themes are downloaded via Google Play, they're done by resources. So I think you can access external resources via Package Manager, if I remember rightly. But I've never done it, so I can't comment.
Excellent.
Yeah, I know I've seen apps on other platforms where it was, you could have these skins, and it was very important that your resources be numbered with exactly the same identifiers as in the base project, and so on.
One example of where developers and designers collide. For the latest updates to the Ultimate Stopwatch, Marie wanted to change the theme as you went through to the countdown. But of course that would require, it was in a view page, so you could swipe across the countdown, but it required restarting the activity to change the theme, which I didn't find a solution around, unfortunately. So we couldn't get without writing my own action bar.
Out.
Yeah, but the action bar had tabs in it and a drop-down overflow and buttons, and I didn't really want to go there, so it didn't happen.
The only kind of thing that I've done remotely like this is the scenario where you have multiple clients wanting pretty much the same app but different themes. And yeah, the library route is probably the best way to go because you have to remember when you're publishing to Play Store, you need a different package name to everyone else. So then, yeah, so you basically have to start doing that, and it works out with resources. So yeah, that's the only sort of comment I have.
Nice. Okay, hopefully that's answered your question, Johan. I know you're going to watch this a bit later on. Sorry, you got some comment on that? Paul, were you just going to jump in there?
Yeah, I was just going to say something else on a different topic, but if you're talking on this topic, I can wait for a moment.
No, go for it. I think we're done.
On the 4.2, I'm quite interested in this ability to log onto the tablet or device for multiple users.
Okay.
Can anyone shine a bit more light on that? For example, I presume the apps have their own data areas per user. Would things like contacts and other things be user-specific as well?
Yes. Yes. It's very much like having your own individual tablet.
So, like everything would be working in the same way as the contacts and.
Yeah, the only thing that's shared are the application binaries themselves. So
if you download an app under one user, the other user will be able to see that same app downloaded into their No,
but if they go to Google Play and then try and install that same app, it will install instantly. It won't do the download again.
Okay, so it just copies itself in the locally.
Technically, I don't actually know if it's copying itself or just setting permissions or making it, linking it, or doing something, but it becomes instantly available. The app finder is, yeah.
Hey Rich, do you know, what about apps that download substantial amounts of supplemental data, say like your game apps that have 400 megs of resources?
That's going to depend on that app itself and how they've implemented that. So if they, I haven't tried it. That's not quite sure. My guess is that it would have to probably download that set of resources again, but I don't actually know. We'll try and dig out some recommendations for you.
Wait,
Maybe
if I
on the fly. It would depend
about that issue.
Sorry?
Regarding the storage, if we were using an external storage as caching for images or so on, each user won't see the folder we created for the different users.
I believe that's correct.
Because basically today we're creating a folder on the SD card, get external storage, and then we create a folder for lazy loading the images and so on.
Yeah, so an example is the gallery and the cameras. So if I go into one profile and take a picture, it goes into /SD card, DSIM, whatever it is, puts it in there. If I switch users, then I get a completely different view of that folder, and I don't see the photos that the original user took.
So each user has a view of the SD card, as it were.
Is it mounting a completely separate volume?
Well, all of our devices don't have the external SD card, of course. So that could be a different matter if people are releasing this with that. I don't know how it would work at the moment.
Okay.
Does anyone know what the security implications this may have? Although they're in different areas, is it completely secure in terms of from one user to another?
I think it's
you're past our knowledge of it at the moment because we haven't tested it out on any devices that do have SD cards. My guess is if you've actually got an external SD card and you're using this and you can still take it out and read the space on it, that you'd be able to see each other's data on the SD card, but I don't actually know. there are no devices that support that at the moment for us to try it out on.
And what do you mean by completely secure? I mean, what is that?
What I mean is I don't mean about external SD cards, I mean from one user to another in terms of, obviously if they can't see the data, they probably can't read it in any other way outside of the app.
I believe the intention is for the users to be completely firewalled from each other.
Okay.
Our sample use case is an enterprise use case, right, where you've got 2 enterprise users sharing one physical tablet and
exactly.
I thought a sample use case is the family. You have a tablet
I agree,
and a coffee table. You don't want to hand it to your kids when it's logged into your Gmail and your Twitter and everything.
But I'm sure if you turn on the encryption, so if you turn on encrypt storage, or what the option's called, that encrypts the SD image. I'm guessing. I don't know.
That'd be interesting if you were encrypting stuff to put on the SD card. You'd have to use a different key for each
user.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it would be specific to that user, and that might be quite a nice way of doing it.
I seem to recall that the coffee table model was explicitly not one of the use cases that we tried to optimize for in this generation of the feature, because that implies things like, you know, an administrative user, aka parent, who is controlling the tablet usage experience of another user, aka the child, and that sort of management infrastructure is not included.
Huh.
Interesting. Yeah, that's certainly my use case for it anyway. To keep my own profile secure whilst the kids still get to play their games. And it's very easy just to switch between the profiles, just tapping the power button and hand it over.
You've had a recent use case for that, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
So we've been joined by some new people.
Let's have a look who's in here with us.
I have to say, I was stunned the other day to walk into the living room and discover that the 3-year-old had found my Galaxy Tab, taken it down, unlocked it, started a game, and actually been playing the game, all without any adult assistance whatsoever. Like, nobody told her how to play this game. She just started doing it.
There you go.
Those skills these days. Welcome to the new guys who have just joined us in the Hangout. Leslie, I think it's Christian.
Hey.
Nice to see you guys. Do any of you have any questions for us?
Yeah, do you guys know how to take a snapshot in code? I've found this screenshot code in there, but I actually want to do it and send the image across a connection.
So do you mean take a screenshot from code? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Of the whole device or just within your app?
The whole device, whole screen.
Oh no, that's not possible. That would be a security hazard if you had a service running in the background that could take screenshots of the device. You can take screenshots of your own application.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else isn't available to the average coder. It's all in the secure.
Yeah, just told my wife to use.
There's nothing.
DDMS is
Yeah, I found the DDMS solution, but it's quite untidy.
Yes.
We want to put this on thousands of devices, so we didn't want to do that.
Is this purely for testing?
It's more for remote support. It's a matter of showing us what the user has on the other side.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, you either have to guide them through taking a screenshot and send it to you.
Okay, well, I had to ask.
But you have access to the phone, right? You guys are
Yeah.
making your own ROMs.
No, we're putting it on Samsung devices now, so we can get the app signed.
Okay. Fair enough. No, in which case, I don't know the way. Samsung do have a screenshot button of their own, so maybe if you're talking to them, you can ask them about that. And if they have any APIs for it for apps that they're signing themselves.
No, you need to have their signature.
Yeah, the signature is not a problem. We can get that done. They use a thing called SOTI, and it's all built into their API, and we don't particularly want to use SOTI because it costs a fortune.
Yeah, sorry about that. Oh, we're back now. Okay, cheers, Leslie, for that question.
Yeah.
Do you have any others?
Not right now.
All right, anybody else who joined us have any questions?
Hang out.
Oh, really? Yeah, we've got a few people coming in.
Loads of questions.
All right. Can we just get a mute from maybe Leslie?
Yeah, there we go.
Excellent, thank you.
Cool. So I think we've got a question.
A question from...
There we go.
What are you pointing at?
The guy with the hand up. I can't see the
Oh,
name. I'm
dude,
sorry.
hey, you can just speak. It's okay. Nice to see you there. Is this the first time you've
Nice to
joined
see
one of
you.
our hangouts?
Yeah, it's well. Actually, I have been watching them quite for a long time over YouTube, but I didn't participate. So that's.
Long time watcher, first time joiner.
I can't actually see your name on the screen. What was your name?
My name is Maxim.
Hey, Maxim.
Hello.
Thanks for joining. And what's your question?
So I have an application on the market which uses phone state, and well, obviously I have a read phone state permission, and I'm uploading a new update just yesterday. I tried to uploading a new update, and somehow market tells me that it's now targeting less devices than it used to, and apparently it's because it has added a new permission there. Well, it's not in the Android manifest, but the market shows that I have a read call log permission, and it creates a weird situation. In fact, I don't want to.
So you're sure you're definitely not asking for any new permissions in the new APK?
I'm not asking for that permission which has been kind of added. It seems that it has been added somehow.
So the source of truth here is to do use AAPT. So if you do AAPT dump badging, and then the path to your APK, that will tell you, that will export all the permissions, because that will show you even the implied permissions. So some permissions are implied by others. So it will explicitly list out all the permissions you are asking for. So that's the source of truth. So if you can do that, and if it doesn't match up to what you're seeing when you upload it to the Play Store, then that sounds like a bug. So let us know if that doesn't match up.
I see. Okay, I will try using that. So actually, if I understand correctly, the situation is that some of the libraries that I may be using may be requesting for that permission. Is that correct?
It could well be, yeah. Well, they would have to be in your manifest, right? Like they can't just imply them.
It was totally weird situation to me because I don't see it anywhere, and it's there.
Yeah. Yeah. Check your manifest and use AAPT dump badging.
Yeah.
Is the way to get to the bottom of this.
All right. Thanks.
Cool. No, thanks for the question. Yeah. Let us know how you get on. Hi, we seem to be joined by some new people as well. Welcome to the Hangout. Does anyone have any Android development questions?
What?
Bueller.
Let's pick on somebody. How about Christian? Christian, what's up? If you're not able to talk where you are now, you're also welcome to type into the sidebar.
Just click on chat.
I'll jump out and see if there's any new questions in the moderator.
Okay.
There is.
Bring up the trusty Nexus 7.
After uploading new app version to market, 2 new permissions were automatically added.
Just answered that question.
Oh, that's right. This is actually Maxim's question. Okay, so this is Maxim. Got it.
Quite a nice one about the action bar, maybe.
Oh, in my app, I want to implement action bar, but in Developer Console, half of the users show they're still using 2.3. So shall I create 2 different APKs? No, use action bar Sherlock.
Yep. Action bar Sherlock's a great solution for that, and it's exactly what it's meant for. It's very easy to add in, and works with the support library, fragments, and everything. Next one.
Yeah,
I'm waiting.
Lucas, I guess it's Lucas Rocker, asks a question about themes. Certain OEMs have changed the default themes that apps ship with. So he says that assuming that the options menu is black in Gingerbread is not necessarily true on all devices. How should you handle this? So yeah, this is problematic, and I guess this is why we introduced hollow styles, which OEMs can't modify, so that you can extend those styles and know what you're going to get. The best advice is really to use the built-in styles and themes. So you can use the things like the text styles like inverse and color primary and color inverse. I think two of the styles you can use. So using those styles that hopefully if they've modified one of the values, they should have modified the other value is really the best you can do in those circumstances. And your advice
maybe using the folder, the library hollow everywhere.
Yeah, not a bad solution. We could hollow everywhere. Or
That will
I don't have
possibly.
the options menu, but
Yeah, the option menu isn't customizable. The themes, it's only the mod platforms, so you not be able to change anything to fit that. There are hacks you can do, but they're hacks, so...
Oh, so it's probably asking about icon colors and stuff like that. So you might want to set
use the system icons maybe.
Yeah.
There's always been a set of guidelines for system icons and stuff like to replicate them. So
yeah.
always do try and stay with that if you're looking at that.
Even the icon builder only does one set, doesn't it? Version to red.
Yeah, if you start playing around with coloured icons and stuff, and we're not really recommending it, then we're not recommending it for a reason. So yeah, you're gonna have a bad time.
Okay.
Sticking a slight meme in there.
Where's Sparky's still there? I thought we'd lost him for a second there. Next one.
Shoot.
What's that?
Is there a right way to add tabs to a multi-pane view? He goes on to say he was talking about doing 2 panes where the right pane needs to have tabs in it, like the one in the Google Play Store, with a menu on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
John, Chris, you got
I actually went for this pane the other day when I was updating an app of mine. I decided not to go with tabs, and I went with dialogues instead. So instead of having the right pane, I just open a dialogue. The other way you could do it is via a library called View Page Indicator. So I'm guessing that the right pane is in a view pager. So you can use the indicator to actually show where you are. It's not quite a tab, but it's near enough that you could use it. So you replicate the tab function in the right pane. So that's the way I'd probably go with it.
Sounds good.
I think that's a good answer. If I was doing it myself, I would probably cop out and just use a list view. That's just me.
I put the tabs in the action bar, but there you go.
Trouble with that is the tab's top left and the right pane is.
But yeah, I'm not a UX designer.
Yeah, it's not that.
It's still what I do. What would you do, Nick?
So what it says, you've got like a 2-pane view, and the right-hand pane is swipeable.
Well, not so much swipeable, but changeable. So
Yeah,
it's got
I
2.
put the tabs in the pane. So yeah, view page indicator. So you can't use page title strip. You tried using that.
You can use page title strip, yeah.
Yeah. What's the problem?
Yeah, I'm getting a bit confused as well because that's all.
Well, that was my. I didn't say page title strip, but
Yeah, page title strip or view page indicator will do the same thing there. Get you there.
I'm trying to bring up the store to see if I can figure out what he's talking about, but I'm not really seeing this right
I think
now.
we figured it out. It's all right. I think we can. You go on, say it, Matt. Say it.
Next muffin.
Next muffin.
So Droid Nerd in Germany asks, is there a possibility to find out the home country of a logged in Google account on Android? We want to show content based on the user's home country. The home country would be used for display correct currencies too. I don't think there is a way to find the country. I think your best bet is probably to query the locale of the device.
Right, and that's a user setting, not necessarily a physical presence.
Yeah,
but you can check the IP address.
You could do
GeoIP or something.
Who knows where that's at?
No, but that will show you where the device is. Not the user's I'm guessing.
The Google Play Store knows where you are, but that's all server-side detection. That's not your device.
You could check the SIM country as well.
So my advice would be not to do any of this. It would be to respect the locale the user's set on the device, because that's, the user has control over these things, like currencies, how they're displayed, dates, how they're displayed. And if you try and get a bit too clever, then it can be annoying.
They're probably trying to implement our recommendation of putting the cost of their in-app items into their application.
Yeah, maybe just the location managers are best bet.
Just respect the locale then.
Yeah. Basically, the locale is the best option.
I was over in Mountain View.
No, the locale. If you've got yours set to UK English,
yeah,
and you're meant to.
I think the best bet for home countries is to create a locale.
So how do you find out what the Play Store's going to return?
Yeah.
Or maybe that's not the case they're asking, but
yeah. My suggestion would be to stick with the locale, and then if that's not their actual home place, as in, let's say they are from Germany, but they switch to English, British for some reason, because that's what they're more comfortable with, then give them the option to change it within settings somewhere. Something to essentially override it. Just use it as a default, essentially.
Just make it a setting.
Yeah, just let the user choose.
Just try and be clever once, and then after that, let the user change it.
Try and be clever, and when you get it wrong,
let the user take over.
Let them override it. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, but basically the Play Store holds and checks the locale and also checks the IP, no? From where the device is checking
the Play Store does, quite a few different checks.
Right. I mean, there's a couple of models. Like if you're offering, like they said, recommendations, restaurants, shopping, something like that, then use the location manager. If you're offering, content that's kind of spaceless, like say you want to watch a video and you want to know what language to play the soundtrack in, then use the locale.
The weird thing that I've found since talking to people in different countries is that quite often they don't necessarily want to consume content in their native tongue. They quite often don't want the dubbed version. Just a brief side point, anyway. So yeah.
I've talked about people about that because Germany is a country that's big enough where Western the entertainment content is almost always dubbed into local language, and the consensus that I've found among the people that I've talked to here is that in fact, while there is a small cadre of people who will always prefer an original version, overwhelmingly most consumers do want it dubbed into their language. Or at least that's the case here.
Yeah, I think we probably deal with a selection bias that people we're talking to probably speak English.
True.
Next question on the moderator asks if there's any general tips for finding and resolving an unknown source of battery drain. So I'm going to guess it's a developer question, like you've got a drain in your app, not just generally my device is running low on battery or anything like that. So
right. I would say look at Trevor's talk from Google I/O where he's giving the rundown on the trace view. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, if you find out.
So my general advice is a couple of tools out there from some of the silicon vendors that will help you do this. So I think ARM has a tool which will help you track the power usage and so on, depending on which chipset your device is running. But generally, my advice on these issues is you're running down power if you're powering something up. So if you're keeping the screen on, if you're holding a wake clock, or if you're doing network, essentially are the biggies. So make sure you understand your usage of those, like especially the wake clock, holding wake clock.
Location as well.
There was a presentation done at DroidCon UK on Dr. Power. It's one of the apps in the Play Store that can help you with this, and it does something similar to the battery stats, but it does break it down in a lot more detail. So I was just looking at that now, and
right. There's some good sort of best practices, like don't use. Say if you're doing networking, don't do polling if you don't have to. If your data is coming at sort of unpredictable times, then have a server-side component that can send you a Google Cloud message, quasi asynchronously. Or if you are going to do polling, don't use exact alarms. Use something like inexact repeating alarms that will sort of converge your wake-up times onto a few selected intervals, and then all of your apps who are all using inexact repeating alarms together can all be woken up at the same time, do the network, and shut back down again.
Yeah, a lot of this boils down to don't do any work you don't have to do as well. So things like listening to the state of the battery and the network and adjusting your behavior accordingly. So if the user's battery is under 20%, then maybe you back off a polling behavior and don't poll so aggressively, or maybe you shut down a certain receiver if you don't need it. It's just do as little work as possible. So one of the things I quite often see is people will use the boot completed listener to schedule any alarms that they might need to reset, like say for some polling behavior. But the first thing they'll do in the boot receiver is check whether something should happen, and if not, just return. Whereas you're much better off actually just using the package manager to disable your boot receiver if it's not going to do anything when you boot, rather than causing an extra piece of work to be done at quite a strenuous time when the system's still starting up and there's lots of stuff going on. So it's just like part of being a good citizen, really. Just don't do any work you don't have to do.
Okay. Any more questions from inside the Hangout?
I think Jeff Gosling would like to be added to the Hangout, and he has a question.
Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's not going to get in, but I'll add him in anyway, and hopefully...
We've got some new live participants as well. Any questions from people in the Hangout?
Hey, Giuseppe from Voice Pro last week.
Behind him.
Yep.
Hey, Giuseppe, any questions, or are you just hanging out? Oh, we can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Yeah, if you're in a position where you can't or don't want to talk, then feel free to type your questions into the chat window.
Oh, we do have some questions.
There's that question.
Ah.
Yeah, she sees it. What's wrong with us?
So we're talking about that.
Question incoming from, how do we say this name? Marijn? Is that your name?
Margin, maybe? I don't know.
Marijn?
IJN, that's Dutch. It looks like Marijn.
Please, I am
Marijn?
trying to clarify my problem. It doesn't matter. We can guess his name later.
Marijn.
Okay.
No questions from Google Plus.
No?
It is a slow Wednesday afternoon.
Okay, I'll ask a question, if you want. No, basically, when you do a search on the Play Store for a specific developer, you can see all the apps the developer posted on the Play Store. Is it a good convention to show a web view on my app, showing all the apps I have on the Play Store? Maybe like a cover flow or something like that.
Yeah, no, I don't see any reason why not. Like, quite often people will just link out to the publisher page on Play Store. But if you wanted to have more control over the presentation, then that's not a bad thing to do. I'd just say do it courteously to your users. Like, maybe put it under a, if you have an about screen, perhaps you can have like a get more apps from us or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I personally just, from the settings menu, from the overflow menu, have a My Apps button. Takes you straight into the Play Store. But if you want to put the effort into designing I guess it's one extra level.
There's one publisher I'm thinking of who seems to like to put up a splash screen where they show you several ads of other titles of their apps, and then off to the side a button that says, click here to play the game that you've just launched.
That sounds handy.
That kind of I don't know. It bugs me a little bit. Like, I at least want the title that I selected to be very prominently displayed, and it would be nice if I didn't have to have one extra click to confirm the title that I just selected and launched.
Yeah, that sounds overly aggressive to me.
Yeah, basically what I wanted was to show a selector on the settings or something, and show a My Apps option, and then show all the related apps to that developer.
I mean, if you wanted us like an About Us and had a nice marquee with all of your apps on About Us, I think that would be a great way to go.
Okay.
So.
I think someone like Level Up did this, don't they, in Beautiful Widgets? I think they do quite a decent job of that.
At the end, yeah. So Margin's come back again, and he's drawn us a picture of the layout that he was trying to build.
Oh, this is the tabs in
This was the tabs layout in multi-pane, yeah.
Okay.
That you just saw. I'll just show the picture to people inside. So we've got a list view on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, there's a fragment with a list view inside it and some tabs across the top, which is, I think, what we were expecting to see.
Mm-hmm.
And he has commented to say, hey, would you mind, Chris? I'm getting a bit old for this.
Made a quick drawing for my question. I had the question about multi-pane view and tabs. The link. I'm using fragments. I need tabs in my detail fragments, just like the Play Store, but it doesn't show.
So his question is fragments within fragments.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Or
I cannot edit the title of the tabs, or the IDs.
Okay.
Do you use ViewPager with just views? Didn't you do something on that in your blog post?
Yes, certainly you can have view pages with list views inside them without having fragments. And then the second fragment would have tabs at the top, which page between a
Not just list
single
views,
view
but
page.
just views. Yeah, the sort of things you could use views rather than fragments. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So would that work?
Yeah, it would work if it was simple enough.
Why do the tabs need to be in the fragment? I'd question that. Why
Yeah,
can't it
that's what I'm
be?
saying, yeah.
Why can't it just be in the activity layout?
Because then it would cover the entire set, so you'd have the fragment. But
Yeah, you want to see them only on the right pane and not all over the screen.
Yeah, but you can do that with includes anyway. Like, I don't think it's any reason it has to be a fragment.
Yeah, you could fake the tabs by, I don't know, copying the layouts
So what you're
from
saying-
Action Bar Sherlock or.
So,
So
the
instead
left
of
pane would
having-
be a fragment.
The list view would be a fragment. Sorry, the
The left pane would be a fragment.
Yeah.
And then it's just a view holding.
With a linear layout, top would be your tabs,
Yeah.
then under that, with a layout weight of 1, would be your fragment.
fragment
the
on this
view pager,
side,
which holds
linear
fragments.
layout on this side.
Yeah, then tabs in the linear layout, with under that,
Linear layout.
be a
So-
view page or.
View page under that.
So my mic is working again, thankfully.
Yay!
What I meant was is that on the left side I have this menu which displays a couple of data types, and on the right side you have a couple of list views. In this particular case I have 3 list views, and because I need to target both. There you are. Because I need to target both mobile phones and tablets.
Sure.
It wasn't natural enough to put those list views just on top of each other. So I was looking for a tab solution with a tab bar in the top, but it's somehow the tab host isn't showing in my app. So
Yeah, don't use tab host.
don't use tab host. And what's the alternative?
So that's been deprecated now to use the action bar style tabs. So yeah, using action bar or action bar Sherlock.
But isn't the action bar just used for?
So it has its
Real
own tab
actions.
system, but it won't. It'll do tabs in the action bar on tablets rather than in line. So you can use something called the pages strip title, which is in the compatibility library. So you can put that within your view page.
Could you type that in page view title or?
Yeah, if you use Eclipse templates, if you just generate a new project and generate one with swipeable tabs, it'll generate all the code you need. That's the best way to kind of like look at how to do it.
Okay, so the layout code for the swipeable tabs I could just copy and paste in this case to the fragment.
Yeah, it'll show you how to do it. Yeah, you just write your own adapter.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Okay.
All right, I got a question for you guys.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Christy.
How's it going?
Yeah, right, I was going to say.
Yeah, you guys should recognize me, maybe. At least Matt
I
does.
am loving the hat.
Well, we got DevRel booth stuff going on in Charlie's today, so. But I do have an Android question. I'm building an app, and I'm trying to use a service to collect JSON data from a web service, munge that data, stick it into a database, and then make that data available via a content provider to my main activities. What I've noticed is I'm able to fetch the data without issue. I'm able to parse it, standard JSON, dump it in the database. The moment I try and access the data from the content provider later, and I'm using the content provider from the service as well to inject the data, when I try and use the content provider from the activity, I get nothing back from my cursors. They're always empty.
That doesn't sound right.
Sounds like a problem with your projection.
I thought that at first, but these are very, very simple. Like I'm basically doing it on one key. It's like I have a YouTube ID, and it's just like, give me the first result that matches this ID. And I'll move it.
Maybe if you're not calling swap cursor and you're on load complete or something simple like that.
Swap cursor. I don't know about that one.
Okay.
explain a little bit more?
Are you using loaders?
Sorry?
Are you using loaders?
I don't think so.
No, then.
So you're just doing a content resolver.query?
Yeah.
Have you checked that the data is actually hitting the database?
Yeah, that'll be my next.
Yeah, can the service?
Yeah, the data is in the database. What I did was I pulled the MySQL data right from the device onto my system and checked it out, and it's all there.
Can the service read it back out of the content provider again after it's written it in?
No. That's that's the weird part. Once it goes in, it doesn't want to come out. But when I try and do inserts of the same data again, I get database exceptions stating that the
it definitely sounds something dodgy on the reading of the data back out. If the data's in there and the content provider's just saying there isn't any, maybe just mail through the code.
All right, I'll send it to Matt today, and you guys maybe can take a look because I've been stuck on it for a day or two, and I've got to get past this.
It sounds like it was your projection to me. If you've got an ID column, like an underscore ID column.
What did I do? I don't think I did. Maybe that is the problem. Although I thought there was an implied one.
Is it implement-based columns or is it extends-based columns? Do you remember?
Implements.
Implements-based
variables on there.
Yeah. I remember. I always just copy IO shed and extend it.
The only problem with that is, the YT player has stopped working.
Oh, yeah, that's because the certificate's probably expired, the API.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Every year we have to regenerate our developer certificates, don't we?
This is the YouTube player API. It's set to expire every 2 weeks after release because it's not launched yet. So.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, at the moment the API is changing slightly because we're doing hackathons, getting feedback. So the YouTube team are spending a lot of time kind of tweaking it, but they're also, it's kind of a fail-safe way and a really awful way of ensuring no one publishes it to the Play Store, because then if it goes live and then they change it, it starts breaking. So yeah, I think it's just their way of just making sure that everything's kind of going to tick along without any problems.
It's been a while now.
It's coming. Like, I think they are literally trying to get to that last final step. It is coming.
Excellent.
Cool place.
Thanks, guys.
All
right, I gotta go catch my bus. So.
All right, Crispy. Cheers.
I will see you guys later. Ciao.
Yeah.
No worries.
Great.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey.
So that's me again.
Yeah.
So we checked the APK with the APT2, and well, it returns the list of permissions I would expect it to return. It returns all the permissions that are in the Android manifest, and the market still shows different lists. And I'm sure it's the same file.
Cool. Can you host the APK somewhere, like put it on Drive and send us a link to it, and we can take a look?
Definitely. So what should I use? Oh, there's a chat. You should use a chat to send it to you.
Can you put it in a comment to the Hangout announcement on G+, not in the chat comments, because they all go away.
If you don't mind distributing your APK to the world.
Yeah, or you could just share it with us personally, post on G+.
What was the name of the application?
I would prefer so, because it's, well, somewhat private. So where could I send it?
What's the name of the application?
Uber.
Can you spell that?
UBER.
Uber.
Oh, like the taxi.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Actually, yeah, it's on the market now.
Yes, it was in the market before and now. So you've uploaded.
Oh, you've uploaded it despite the permission thing.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, well we can grab it from there. That's cool. We'll take a look.
Okay, thanks.
Nice.
So should I come back like to the next office hours or to the next 15 minutes? Or how could that work?
Always come back to the office hours.
Yes, our next office hours will be from DevOps, so it's going to be a slightly different format.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a lot of Googlers speaking at DevOps next week, the very large developer conference. So it may be taking a slightly different format next week, but it should be at the same time.
I see.
We'll try and get back to you on the Uber thing slightly separately, outside of the office hours.
All right. I'll just in case I'll type my email in the chat. Thanks.
Okay. The problem with the chat is we lose it as soon as the office hours goes off air.
So in the moderator then?
Yeah. Somewhere like that. In the thread or the moderator's fine. Okay.
What's the chat aside from that?
Are you attending DroidCon Netherlands?
Yes. Margin, we will be at DroidCon Netherlands on the 23rd and 24th, maybe 24th and 25th.
See you there.
See you there. Excellent. Do we have any more questions coming through the moderator? Sparky?
Let's take a quick look.
Thanks, dude.
I'm only counting 8, and there were 8 last time we answered one.
Yeah, I agree.
Look at the thread.
Still only 8. I think we've hit them all.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it possible to use the YouTube API? You already talked about the.
So
it's coming soon.
Yeah, they were taking beta testing, but I'm not convinced that that's going on anymore because, like I say, they are kind of getting to that final stages. So at the moment, I'm not aware of any more developers getting on board at the moment.
Okay.
Yet.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions today, we might be able to wrap it up a little bit early.
No.
Sorry, but there must be one of my questions.
Go ahead.
Can I go?
Please.
Yes. I would like to know if there is any guideline for what is permitted and what not. Let's suppose, for example, that we would like to import a video from another application, okay, that has been done with another application into the own application and extract the audio from this video. Is it allowed, is permitted from the policy? And if there is any policy about what or not is permitted, where can I find it?
So that would very much depend on the guidelines for that application. So it's a bit of a strange use case, but if they're going to allow the share intent, send intent to share their video to other applications, and they're expecting to send the video to social networks, G+, Facebook, etc., and then it shares to your application, and your application then pulls the soundtrack off it, the use of that soundtrack will be under the guidelines of the application that shared it in the first place, I guess. Certainly,
there is stuff in the content policy, isn't it, about not interfering with another app's data?
There is. It's true.
That's
app
the only one I
functionality
know
of
of that you've
data.
got to be.
It does sound.
Yeah, I think Rich is the right here is to make it easy for people to send their content to your app rather than going out and scanning for other content. Sounds like the right way to.
Yeah, but the problem is that the data will not be like it was sent. Will be managed, will be changed, will be extract something from inside. So this is the question. The video application share with me the video as is it, but I'm extracting something from inside. I'm doing something wrong, or can I do this? Or I can do this?
This begins to sound like more like a legal question.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes,
I actually know what, in some respects, what was related to.
The problem is that the content that was shared with my app, it's not owned by the other app, but is owned by the user. So if there is some legal action, will be against me and the user. But if the user wants a legal action against me, why he share the subject with me? I don't know if it's clear, the question, but probably we need a lawyer.
Yeah. Maybe someone from the YouTube team that you're referring to.
YouTube content is a little bit different because we know that YouTube don't want that we manage the files. Probably this is in their policy, but I am talking about a standalone file that is on the device and not imported from outside or downloaded from YouTube.
Yeah, so there's certain your application playing files, guys, or files, things like that, audio and video players inside the Google Play Store. It's just what the users are using assets they extract from them afterwards can be questionable. As long as you're not using dodgy things, might be okay. Sounds like a legal question.
None of us are lawyers. Talk to a lawyer.
Yeah, you might be able to get around it with dialogues, things like that, just warning the user not to use it for any bad purposes as well. Make sure you only load up your own content, or you're only, you're not breaking any copyright terms and conditions by using this product to XYZ.
Something like, are you sure you want that we extracted the audio from your video? Something like that?
No, just more down the guide. Only extract audio from videos that you own the rights to.
So what to show you?
Yeah, maybe. Right.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers, Giuseppe. So I think we had some other people bouncing in and out during that. Does anyone else have a question?
That's old.
Okay. Yeah. If there's no other questions, then we will wrap it up.
What's going on, Justin?
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thanks for being crazy. Android says bye. Thanks for coming, everyone. And as I say, next week we'll be at DroidCon. We hope very much to run. Excuse me, I was reading DroidCon screen. Next week we'll be at DevOps. Very much
watch out for a special edition of those office hours.
Be on at the normal time, normal place. But you do double check on developers.google.com/live/Android, just in case we have to shift the time to match some of the DevOps scheduling. Thank you all very much, and see you next week.
Someone can share the link of DroidCon?
DroidCon.nl or something like that.
nl.droidcon.com.
I will Google.
Cheers. See you all. Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.